Hello and welcome to Encore on France 24. Today we're getting an American take on European operatic classics. Ryan Brown, who founded the US-based Opera Lafayette, is here to tell us about their marathon back-to-back performances this weekend in Versailles. Still classical, but less classic, find out how Brokeback Mountain is being turned into an opera. We're hearing from the story's original writer, Annie Proulx. And we'll also find out how Senegalese singer Youssou N'Dour is hoping to break through the turmoil and violence in Central African Republic with music. First though, let's go and meet our guest. Hello there, Ryan.
Hi.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here with us, and thank you, of course, for tuning in. Now, Ryan is a musician turned conductor who decided to found his own opera company, as you do, almost 2 decades ago now. Now, Opera Lafayette is particularly interested in 18th century French classics. The company is here in France as they prepare for an unusual feat of musical endurance, performing 2 operas back-to-back on the same night, 2 nights in a row. Ryan, that sounds like a very sportsman-like feat. Are your singers limbered up and ready?
Oh, I think we're ready. We do one in the afternoon and one in the evening on each day.
Okay, well, it certainly sounds like an intense and unusual experience. Let's give the viewers a preview. This is a clip of one of the operas, Les Femmes Vengées. There we go, Les Femmes Vengées by Philidor. Ryan, the company's performing that as well as Mozart's Così fan tutte. Why, first of all, did you pick these 2 operas to play together?
Well, the Les Femmes Vengées has a mirror image plot to Così. So whereas in Così, the men are kind of playing the tricks on the women, in Les Femmes Vengées, the women get to play the tricks on the men.
Ah, okay, excellent. And you're actually using, it's the same cast members, the same singers, and they're taking on characters that sort of mirror in each opera.
Exactly. The characters are young and in love, 18 years old in Così, and they're maybe 10 years older and married in Les Femmes Vengées.
So it's almost like Philidor and Mozart got together and worked this out together, but of course they didn't.
Well, we don't know for sure. Mozart might have seen the Philidor when he was in Paris. We just don't know for sure.
Okay, it's really interesting. Now, I mentioned how you focus on French operas, particularly 18th century. Così fan tutte was composed by an Austrian in Italian. What does it change to perform it in France in French?
Well, we're not only doing it in French, but we're doing it with dialogue instead of sung recitative. So it's a little bit more like the opéra comique or the musical comedy that people hear in America or that people hear at the opéra comique. And I think it's very exciting for us. It makes it much more direct, I think, for the French.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to put your own spin probably on something that's so classic and so well performed. Now, I know that your company is particularly interested in creating a recorded legacy of some of these pieces, perhaps more the Philidor than the Così fan tutte.
Right, exactly.
Is that because you feel that the sort of the blockbuster operas, the Butterflies and all those kinds of things, the La Bohèmes are getting a bit too much play and the others not enough?
They're getting plenty of play. And there are these wonderful operas which haven't yet been recorded and haven't yet been seen. If you go to the Opéra Comique, right, you look at the ceiling, you'll see right next to Mozart, you'll see Monsigny, and yet nobody's heard Monsigny's work, so we've recorded 2 of them, and now Philidor as well.
So you're an ambassador for these composers who are less heard, so that's good. Why did you found your own opera company? That seems like a big feat to take on.
It was, it's a sort of American entrepreneurship, I guess, but nobody else was doing this French repertoire in America, and so it was exciting for me to think about the possibility of doing it, and then there turned out to be a lot of support for people who are interested in the new, or avant-garde, as I like to say.
Absolutely. And a lot of interest in America, of course, for Versailles. It's very, very popular with visitors from all over the world, the palace. You're performing at the Opéra Versailles. What does it bring to the performance to play it there?
Well, it's an amazing and wonderful place to play. We were here 2 years ago with a piece, and we got to perform on the decor that was used, commissioned by Marie Antoinette,
Oh, wow.
and on which she performed an opera 2 years ago. This year we're bringing our own set, and as you saw, it's a 3-room set, and the comedy depends on the different couples being in the different rooms and not seeing each other.
Okay, so we get to see different things happening that
Exactly.
they don't know about.
Yeah, exactly,
Interesting
exactly.
stuff. Sounds
Right,
like
right,
fun.
right.
Let's just remind the viewers, Opéra Lafayette are performing Così fan tutte and Les Femmes Vengées back to back, like we said, at the Opéra Versailles, and those performances will take place from Thursday to Sunday of this week. Now, Ryan, we're going to stick with opera but move on to another bit of musical news. I'd be very interested to hear what you think about this adaptation. It's a new operatic version of Brokeback Mountain, which is premiering this week in Madrid. It's based on the book that became an Oscar-winning film about forbidden love between two cowboys. The author of Brokeback Mountain, the book, Annie Proulx, has given her blessing to the project and even wrote the libretto. Now, she said that adapting her story to an opera worked out better than you might imagine.
Long phrases are not the way that Western men speak. There were never any long phrases in the story. And so the dialogue from the story was perfect, just as it was. Just pick it up and move it to the opera.
Now, Ryan, as an American who's very much involved in opera, would you be interested to see this?
Oh, I think it's a wonderful idea. I mean, we saw the movie and it made a very big impression in America. And of course, gay marriage is a huge issue right now.
Absolutely.
And different states are doing it. I also am interested from the point of view of being from a ranching family out in Colorado and knowing several cowboys. And it was interesting to combine those two worlds, which people don't see gay cowboys very often.
Absolutely. And so many operas that do get performed, you know, they're so often historical or they're sort of tragic love stories. This one's not really historical in that sense, but it is a tragic love story. Do you think that that's perhaps the reason why the composer Warren maybe went for this story, the actual... Does the story have to be quite...
I think you've hit it.
Simple
I
and
think you've
tragic.
hit on it, yeah. I just wonder how they do it with two characters alone so often. But, they did it with Tristan and Isolde, so why not?
That's true,
So why
okay.
not?
Well,
So-
we'll all be interested to see what happens at that premiere, I think. Let's move on to some other musical news now. The Senegalese music icon Youssou N'Dour is hoping to travel to the Central African Republic to spread a message of peace there. This might come as a bit of a surprise to those of you who remember him best from his mid-90s pop collaboration with Nena Cherry. Now, though, N'Dour, who is a Muslim, is teaming up with Christian singer Lydie Natasha, who's Christian. The interreligious pairing is entirely on purpose, as the duo want to encourage harmony between communities.
When
I see these images of Muslims and Christians fighting in the same country, in the same land, I just want to tell them that it's not an obstacle to have different religions, but rather a benefit to cherish. I think music allows us to take shortcuts. We can participate to bring peace in this country that is so dear to us.
Okay, message of optimism from Youssou N'Dour. Ryan, do you think perhaps too optimistic, or can music really have that effect?
Well, it makes me think of Romeo and Juliet, two lovers from different conflicting parties. And we did an opera last year, La Larouque, that took place in Kashmir. And of course, that's a place which has had such great conflict. And we tried to bridge cultures by bringing an Indian dance company to the opera. And so I think it's a wonderful effort on his part, and I'd love to see it.
At the very least, to foster understanding of each other's point of view, perhaps. That is an interesting point of view, for sure. Well, here in Paris, French and Chinese cultural stars have come together for one night to mark 50 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. This week's Chinese New Year marks a move into the year of the horse. So, rather fittingly, France's idiosyncratic creator of horse theatre, Bartabas, was one contributor to the entertainment. Now, with inspiration there from China's legendary Terracotta Army. From China, pianist Wu Muye played a piece by Franco-Polish composer Chopin. Both men told Encore's Sonia Patricelli how they're influenced artistically by each other's cultures.
For me, Paris represents French culture, European culture, but also Beijing. There are pockets of Chinese culture in the city, so I try to find what we have in common, and at the same time try to be an ambassador for this culture.
It's an image that really struck me, even in my youth, because we found the tomb of an entire Chinese army in clay. And through this very sacred image of frozen people that we made move first a little bit and then gradually more frenetically, we symbolise how we live today, how life is accelerated worldwide.
There we go. Well, that is just about all we have time for on today's show. Ryan, thanks very much for coming to see us.
Thank you.
And best of luck with those marathon operas that you're putting on. Thanks to you at home as well, of course, for watching our programme. Do keep in touch with the Encore team via our social networks. You can also follow me on Twitter at @acatinparis. We're going to leave you with more from the spectacular night of Franco-Chinese entertainment in Paris. So until next time, it's bye for now.